Hi there, this is Ram again from Oracle Solution Engineering team. This time I'm going to demonstrate how with Oracle Integration Cloud one could easily build and automate processes. I'm going to address the purchase order automation, purchase request, and receiving goods and accounts payable. These are some of the things which I'm going to demonstrate now. So what you're seeing here is the Integration Cloud window. I'm going to start with showing what is the process, what has been built. Then I'll show you the end output as well. This is the designing part of this tool, the process builder, as the name suggests. It's useful for designing the processes. I have designed many processes here. CapEx application, invoice payments, everything, performance appraisal. You could design anything, whatever you want here. The thing which is of interest for us here is the purchase order application. I'm going to open that. So with the purchase order application, what I have done in this workflow is I've created a purchase order process. It has a workflow which starts with a site manager submitting a PO request. Then the PO goes to the manager for the approval, only based on a certain decision. If the PO amount is under the purchasing limit, it doesn't go to the manager for approval. If it is over the purchasing limit, then it goes to the manager. The purchasing limit is considered as $2,500 in this case. So if any PO is raised less than $2,500, it goes to the supplier directly here. And a notification is sent to the supplier as well. That is a process which has been designed here. Let me show you how this application will look like. The end user will access this part of this application, which is the workspace. They can log into their tool like either from the iPad or into the computer. They go into this PO form. And once they launch this PO form, the beautiful form comes in, designed with Allroads logo as well. This is a form which I have designed for the purchase order request. It comes in with today's date as a default purchase order date. That is how it has been set. You can set some certain things dynamically. I can choose a project number. Let me say the purchase order amount in this case is like, let's say 3,000, more than 2,500. I'm going to fill in this form with some dummy values to start with. I'm going to call the delivery date around like 28th of December. Supplier, I'm going to choose some dummy suppliers. By the way, the data, whatever I've taken here is all for the demonstration purpose. All this data could easily come in from your Sage CRM as well, Sage CRM or the ERP system as well. Through our integration capabilities, it can be easily done. And ship to Melbourne. I'm going to have a contact number as supplier and email ID, my Gmail address as a supplier email. So let's just fill this with some dummy values, right? I can also attach a document by uploading a file here. Basically, for the purchase order, I might say like I'm going to have this project cost. So I'm going to upload this file to the approver as some kind of for the approver to consider. He has to actually approve based on the facts. So this acts as a document which proves the facts, project cost. So I can upload any of these attachments. I can save this, or even I can submit this as well. Let me submit this purchase order form. So I'm acting as a site manager. Now I have submitted this purchase order form for the approval. What happens next? If I go to my process, just for your memory, once a purchase order is submitted, if it is under the purchasing limit, it goes to the supplier directly. If it is over the purchasing limit, it has to go to a manager for approval. So in this case, I've submitted $3,000. So that is why I'm getting an email. I'm acting as a manager as well in this demo. So I got an email on my Outlook just now as I speak. So there is an action required for a new PO. In this case, manager's approval is required, which is the right case. And the PO number, whatever I have filled here, has come through as well. I could again access this PO form right from the mobile or tablet or even from the browser as well. If I click on this link, that will take me to the task window wherein I see the purchase order form, what has been submitted. So this is exactly the form which has been sent by the site manager in the site looking to buy certain items. So as a manager now I'm seeing all these things okay. For the justification purpose, some documents has been uploaded. Yes, I can look at this document, everything is fine. Now I go ahead and provide a comment as well, approved from my end. So this comment can act something like a social conversation, just like a Facebook comment. In a business, you can communicate with your stakeholders. So I, as a manager now, I'm acting to approve this purchase order. I'm going to click on this approve button. As soon as I click approve, it has been processed successfully and this task is moved out of my plate. If I go to my task again, either on my mobile or even on the web computer, the task disappears from my plate. Okay, so now just going back to the process, once the manager has approved here, it goes to the supplier now. The supplier gets a notification as well. Again, rightly, I get another email in my inbox now as I speak. Let's close this original email. If I go in here, there is another action required. In an ideal world, there will be 3 different users and there will be 3 different email IDs. For the purpose of demo, I'm acting myself as a site manager, as the manager, and as well as a supplier. So in this case, now I'm the supplier. I got an email, new PO has come from All Roads, and the PO number is attached as well in the attachment in the header of the email. Now, as a supplier, I'm going to action this by clicking on this link. That will take me to the task window. Again, as a supplier, I can access this from the tablet or mobile as well through our native mobile app functionality. So I see the PO, I see that the manager has approved as well here. Everything is fine. And if I go to the attachments, the documents, I can see some documents as well, which is not necessary for me as a supplier, but whatever documents has come through this flow will be available for the supplier as well. So as a supplier, I can go in and submit this and then action by sending 2 things, right? One is I'm shipping the goods to the supplier to the desired address. And the second thing is I'm going to send an invoice to the email address as well, what has been in the PO. So let me just first submit this. Now what I would do is I would basically ship the goods. Now the goods is shipped. So what happens when the goods is shipped? There has to be someone in the site who needs to receive these goods as well. So let me go back to this application, the original application. In the site, an employee receives the goods by clicking this form. By the way, there has been an email notification for all the stakeholders that the whole PO process has been completed since the supplier has submitted the action already. So everybody in the system gets notified. This can be even a text SMS notification as well. As long as if you have got right SMS services, we can always integrate them within our tool. Now let's see what happens in the receive goods. So this is another basic receive goods form which I have built in this case for demonstration purpose. So here I'm actually showing all the purchase order numbers coming from the backend system. So I've got 2 numbers. I'm going to choose the PO 1234. And I'm going to check the ordered quantity, whether it's total or partial. I can say the total items has been received or partially few things have been received as well. In this case, I'm going to say total has been received. And if I submit this, Dynamically, it will pull all the purchase order items in an ideal world. In this case, like I'm going to just click on this plus because this is for demo purpose. We haven't taken the data, real data coming from the backend system. So these are the products which I'm considering as the items which has come from the purchase order. So we have got all Apple MacBooks of 4 quantities, and this is the appropriate description. So imagine this is the item which is coming directly from the purchase order. In an ideal world, if I go and submit in the receive form, what would happen is it would go into the backend system and retrieve all the product details which has been shipped by the supplier or which has been requested in the purchase order. Now, as an employee, I'm collecting my goods. I have been tasked to check the condition or the status of the goods. So I'm going to check the number is fine. I'm going to say okay, this is okay, this is okay. Probably I can say this is not okay. And if I have to take some photos or something, I can take from the mobile and upload it right away here, which will be attached to the process as well. So this is how the goods has been received, and the employee submits this to the manager. And this goes to the site manager for the approval as well in the next step. And once the site manager checks that, the site manager will basically compare this received goods with the purchase order what has been submitted and then go for an approval as well. So in this case, I'm going to submit this. So the goods received form has been submitted as well. Okay, so now what happens is the supplier sends an invoice. This invoice will be automatically read by our OCR engine, and the email invoice will be captured, the OCR data will be captured, and all the payments related information will go into the Sage CRM or the ERP system. From our tool, it will be basically integrated and it will go into the Sage ERP system. So that's how it will be built. In fact, in another video, I'm actually demonstrating how this OCR engine will function as well. So I'm just, for the mindful of time in this video, I'm not showing you all those things. Apart from this, what else I wanted to showcase here is, I would like to definitely address how difficult or simple this process builder capability is. Can we build this process quickly? That's what you might be looking at. So I'm going to show you quickly. I'll quickly build a dummy process, or in fact a process similar to what I have shown you, just to showcase the capability of this tool and the agility of this tool. So let me go into this process designer. In an ideal world, any business user or any user, end user, won't be accessing this designer. This is only for people who is going to build the process. So I'm going to create a new application. So let's call it as PO demo application 3. And while I build this application, I'm going to choose a template as well for the process. We have several templates. Like if you choose a template, it's always like easier to build the process faster. So I think there is some lagness in the internet as well. That's why you're seeing some slowness here. Okay, so I'm going to create a project now. I'm going to choose the form approval pattern. This is a template which I'm choosing. Let me call it as PO demo process 3. What it will do is it will create a simple dummy workflow with some sort of template in place like this, which helps me to get started easily. Let me change this template. I'm going to call this first role or first line as site manager SM, who is submitting the request. The second role as the manager, who is approving the request. And I can keep on adding by clicking on this plus. If I go here, I'm going to change this as probably as supplier in the system. I can drag and drop these things. All these green things are all human tasks. Whenever a human approval is needed, there will be a green icon. If I have to get data from an external system, I can always use a service call or here. There are plenty of things in this icons here which will do the magic for you by doing things faster without writing any code. You don't have to write code, but all these icons which has been done here by Oracle, they will take care of the complexities for you. So now how do I create this process? Let's submit a request. Let's call it as submit PO. And if I go to this, click on this icon, go to properties here, I can design a form with our beautiful designer tool. Let me call it as a PO form, the purchase order form. And this tool is completely drag and drop. Without writing any code, you can easily create a very good design form just by dragging and dropping things. Now it will open a designer tool. There you go. Here I can drag and drop a text area. If I want to select drop down, I can do that. Checkbox, checklist, anything I want in the web form, I can add it here. I'm going to add a date, email, maybe a mobile number. All those things could be added. Money, phone number. The best part of this designer tool is, number one, it is easily creatable. You can easily drag and drop and create these things. The other part is it takes care of the validations as well. If you are having an email field, it's going to allow only the email related data. It has to be email at info@email.com or something like that. And the same thing with the phone number. It takes care of the whole validation. And if I actually preview this, it shows how it looks on different devices as well. Without even writing any code, I can actually port these forms to different devices. Any user on the mobile can connect to my server and access it from the mobile as well. That's the best part of this tool. Let me actually save this process. So this shows you how quickly you can design things as well. Not only you are accessing the output, but design is simple as well. And whenever there are some changes in the process, it's so easy to change. That's how your business can be kept agile as well. If I go into this human task, if I go into the properties again, this shows the complete flexibility of this human task. I can, without writing any code, I can attach a form to this. That means any human who is seeing or approving things will basically get this form data. And I can give a title for this email here. Let's say action required for PO. And I can set some due dates as well. If I want the approver to approve it in 2 days at maximum, I can set it as 2D. That means the approver has to approve in 2 days. Otherwise, there will be some reminders, there will be some escalations as well, which could happen based on how you configure. Again, if you see, I'm just configuring everything. I'm not at all coding anything. So if the approver doesn't actually action based on the respected time, then escalations can be set here as well. So that's the complete power of this workflow tool. So this is something which I wanted to show you as well, just to showcase the capability of the agility of this whole application, so that if there are some changes in the purchase order or invoicing later on, you can easily do those changes without even going to a partner or even a consulting firm. That's the power of this platform approach as well. Okay, so what else? Like, there are other capabilities in this tool as well. Other thing is dashboards. Let me go in and show you how effectively we can provide and collect information on the dashboards. Let me go back to the home page. If I go to this runtime tool, I can access the dashboards, which will monitor the whole data in the process. You don't have to do any of the dashboards yourself. Certain things comes by default out of the box. You can access those dashboards with whatever process you have got. Let me actually submit it again. Go back to the task. There you go. There is a dashboard functionality here. If I click on this dashboards, it shows completely all the dashboards. I haven't done anything for building this. It's completely out of the box. You see information about the processes health. You see information about the open processes. Let's assume that you build like 4 or 5 processes: PO automation, time approvals, employee leave approvals, and all those expense approvals. It will show you the whole process information for the business to business leaders or even the business users. You can see the workload of each of your employees, the top 10 assignees, where is the bottleneck in the process, where is which step in the process is taking a lot of time, what has been the trend in my business, what has been happening in my business. All those analytics will come in out of the box based on the information what you collect in the process. Apart from this, you can also customize this by attaching this business analytics as well. By default, the business analytics is empty, but anytime you need, like there are some requirements like creating dashboards for your project cost, all those things could be easily created by this business analytics functionality here. So with that, I would like to actually complete this demonstration with regards to the purchase order automation and the invoicing automation. Let me know offline if you have got any queries or any other information as well. We are happy to come over and demonstrate in person as well. If you have any further queries, please feel free to ask us on the email or even over the phone. Thank you for listening to me. Cheers. Bye.